I remember watching that Montreal Screwjob, and of course didn't really know the whole thing until later when it was talked about and analyzed and picked apart. Um, but whenever y'all got Shawn Michaels out of there, did you know what was going to happen? I mean,
Pretty
I've heard.
much, pretty much knew everything was going to happen. I mean, it was pretty much everything that happened. We pretty much went over. Vince and I went over for the night before, uh, and and I'm telling you something that probably hadn't been said. I don't think I've said it anyway. But I had Bret Hart and I we met at Vince's, and I respect the hell out of him. He's great. One thing that does irritate me occasionally, brother, is well, I knocked Vince McMahon out with one punch. Well, Vince and I the night before had talked about it. He said, "What do I do if Brett? Because we're talking about our exit route. After this thing is through, how we're going, what we need to do." My number one concern was getting Earl Hebner out of there safely.
Yeah,
That was my number one thought was getting Earl out and then getting Shawn Michaels in a safe place. I knew if I got Shawn in the backstage where Paul was, Triple H was, and where Kevin Nash was, and where X-Pac, I knew he would be safe. So I knew all I had to do was get him in their hands, and I could focus on the other. But Earl was the main one I was concerned about. So I got Earl out. Then I went back and I wanted to get Shawn out, and I got Shawn out, and Shawn was walking. He was carrying the belt in front of him, and they were throwing shit out. I said, "Shawn, put the belt over your head like that." So he
that's a
put
good
the head,
idea.
something bounced off the belt instead off his damn head. So I got him to safety. And then I got to get Vince to a safe place. And Jr. I mean, Jr. didn't. I mean, plus JR and some of the guys, JR didn't have a clue what was going on. Nobody really knew except me and Vince, what was going down. And so I would finally, like I said, the night before in the meeting after the post production meeting when Vince and I met privately and went over all this stuff, we went over every possible scenario that could possibly happen. One of them was Vince taking a shot, and I said, number one, Vince, you got to take it. I mean, you can't fight back. It's a no-win situation. You just got to stand there, and if he wants to get physical with you, you're 10 years older than him. You got to stand there and take it.
Yeah.
But then I started worrying about the wild card in the thing, and that wild card was Shane McMahon.
Mm.
Now he gets someone standing there and what's this guy punch with your daddy out, So I went to Sergeant Slaughter and Tony Gurria, and I put those two guys. I put Sarge. Sarge, you're the main guy. You're 330 pounds. He can't get past you if you don't want him to. I said,
Yeah.
you don't want him to get past you because something's going to happen. So we go in. We finally get it, and everybody's banging on the office dressing room door. And inside that door is me, Jim Ross, Bruce Pritchard, and Vince McMahon. So I take Jim and I lock him in a bathroom. I said, "You don't come out of that bathroom, don't unlock the door until you hear my voice again." Because I didn't want JR to get blamed for anything because he
Right.
didn't have a clue what was going down. And I wanted him to be innocent. So Undertaker's there, and he said, "You got to come down." I went to the door, and he's banging on Vince's door. "You guys got to come down and talk to the guys." So, but making that walk, finally, I got everybody coordinated. I got Bruce, and Bruce is taking off his Rolex and all that stuff, and loosening his tie in case taking his tie off in case it gets a little physical in there. And I get charged with Shane, and we walk that walk. And that walk from Vince's Dread, it's all the way to the end of that Montreal Forum or whatever the building we were in there. And it's all the way to the other end to the hockey dressing room. So we walk down there, and the hallways are just lining with people that hate us and despise us, and they're spitting on us and cussing us and doing everything in the world, while we're making that walk. Finally, we get in the dressing room. When we get in the dressing room, One of the guys, I think it's Taker, gets up. He runs everybody out of the dressing room except for Sean, Triple H, and the office guys that I brought in there, and Brett, of course, and we're the only guys sitting in the dressing room. And of course, what Brett said was true. You know, if you're not out there by the time I get through the shower, I'm gonna knock the shit out of you. So Vince just sits down and waits for him to get out of the shower so he can blow it all off. You know, I mean, now you got to give Vince credit. Vince knew what was coming, you know, and because we had talked about it. And the only thing we didn't talk about, the only thing we didn't realize Brett was going to, when he destroyed the set and spit on Vince. That was the only thing in our conversation that we didn't think that would happen, and happened. Everything else kind of went down because we threw out about 25, 30 different scenarios that we both thought would happen, you know, and out of all of them, bits and pieces out of just about every one of them happened. So Brett reared back and he nailed Vince, and I mean, what a shot. Vince's hands are down at his side, you know, just not in a defensive position, but just standing there waiting for it, hands down the side, knowing it's coming. He nailed him right in the temple. We're in one of those hockey dressing rooms, and in those hockey dressing rooms, you know, those skaters have those hockey have those skaters, so there's like pallets in there. So
yeah,
you know the floors are not really stable. So he goes down, and the funny thing about it, and he still to this day bitches to me about it. You know, now there's a big scrum because he goes down and Brett dives on top of him, but we'll allow Brett one hit, but that's all he's going to get, you know.
Yeah,
yeah, getting no more on minutes, you know, free anyway.
Yeah.
So we all go down. We try to separate in the scrum. So in the melee of breaking that little scrum up, I step on one of those pallets, and my foot slides over, and I step on Vince's ankle and break Vince McMahon's damn ankle in the process, and turn my knee where it blows out my damn knee. You know, I got to get a knee replacement soon, and I'm still blaming getting a knee replacement on what took place there. But I broke Vince's ankle by stepping on him. He still said, biggest damage I got was damn Brisco's fat ass stepping on me and breaking my ankle.